Good morning, everyone. How are we?
Good morning.
We've got a couple of people entering still. So we'll give it just another moment or two as our room fills up, our Zoom room. Well, why don't we go ahead and we will get started with introductions and onto the good stuff. I am Kathy Weber. I'm the Executive Director of the Downtown Alameda Business Association, and I am excited to see a lot of faces that I haven't had the opportunity to meet in person yet. So thank you all for joining us. I also want to thank our marketing committee, led by Barbara, for kind of inspiring this this educational session and this opportunity for us to kind of come together and learn how to navigate these exciting social media waters that are really more important than ever at this time. And I also want to take a moment to introduce you to Mei Ling. It is so nice to see your face. I've been a fan of your work with with Baba and our social media. It's really exciting to see you and get to learn from you.
So,
thank you. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you kind of became this fabulous force for social media good?
Yeah, well, I kind of started doing social media work for other businesses after I had my first son, Caden. He's 4.5 years old right now. A local photographer reached out to me and asked for some help with their social media, and I wanted to stay home with my son and raise him. So it kind of just started organically that way and grew from there. As the years went on, I took on, more clients and expanded. And I was always very active on social media with my own personal use. So it was always fun for me to do.
Well, how about if we go ahead and kind of just get started, because I'm sure we're all really interested to tap into your knowledge and skills.
Okay, sounds good. And during the presentation, I'm going to be showing a lot of different examples I pulled from social media and, asking some questions from you all to kind of engage with it and see what you maybe noticed in the post. So I see, everyone has their microphones muted. But during the presentation, if I, ask a question and you want to jump in, please feel free to, I guess, just unmute and answer. I think, right? Would that work? Yeah, I don't know if it'll be easy for me to see everybody with my screen being shared. So just, jump in whenever you feel like it. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, so everyone can see this? Yes? Okay, cool. Okay, so as Kathy mentioned, my name is Mei Ling, and today I'm going to be presenting some basics on social media that will hopefully help the small businesses. Some of these topics I talk about, you might already be familiar with in your own personal social media use, but hopefully you learned today how to use these to help grow your presence for your business. Okay, sorry, already having some technical difficulty here. I'm trying to go to the next slide. Okay, there we go. So when I was putting this presentation together, I found this interesting study done by the Pew Research Center. There's a chart here showing social media use by age, and they started their research in 2005. And at that point, they found that only 5% of American adults were using social media. By 2011, the number rose to nearly half of all adults. And by 2019, when they concluded the study last year, they found that 72% of US adults are using at least one platform of social media. So the question really isn't, whether your small business should be on social media, but how you should go about it. And hopefully I'll be able to help you out with that today. So there are obviously many different social media channels out there that you can use for your business. But I feel like Facebook and Instagram are two great channels for you to use that will help you gain the widest reach for your business. If you're not already familiar with them, Facebook is a must-have for any brick and mortar business looking to target your local customers. They have the ability to do check-ins and reviews from your customers, which is great for growing your local following. And if you're interested in doing any paid ads, the platform, on Facebook for ads, it's basically considered the gold standard. So that's a great option. And then we also have Instagram, which at its core is centered around basically visual content. You see the image first. And this is a way for businesses to really get creative using eye-popping photos or clever captions. Whatever you do, you want to make sure your profile is filled out 100%, which makes it look a lot more professional and easier for customers to find. A lot of times people are looking at the business, they'll automatically go to a social media account first. I find I do that myself. I'll look them up on Facebook or Instagram versus going to the actual business website. So it's really, really important that you make sure your hours, your business information, your contact information is all up to date. Okay, so we're going to be going over three kind of topics today: creating content, hashtags, and engagement. The first topic we're going to look at is creating content. Now, it's really important when you're creating your content to remember why people are, even on social media in the first place. So if there's anybody that is interested in chiming in and sharing, maybe you could share an example of an account that you like to follow on social media, or is there an example of a post, you recently saw that made you stop to read it? If anyone would like to share, they can just kind of unmute their microphone.
I was just looking at Instagram a little while ago before this, and I saw I follow this woman who does these crafty totes, and she had just a beautiful picture of a loaf of bread that she made that she can put in the tote, and then click the link in her profile for her recipe. And I did it. I followed I had nothing else to do, so I followed all of that. I looked at her. Then I was looking at all her blog posts. I mean, it really did send me down a rabbit hole with her, and I've never really looked at her stuff before, other than just like scrolling past through Instagram.
Nice. So obviously something, caught your attention.
Yeah.
From what was posted, Yeah, and a lot of times, we are on social media just to take a break, to find something entertaining, something fun or interesting. And that's really important to keep in mind when we're creating our content. So what kind of content do you want to post? You definitely want to make sure whatever content you're putting out there is something that your current customers and any potential customers want to see, they want to read, listen to, or watch. For example, you can do, behind the scene videos, you can share inspirational quotes, employee selfies, images of a new product, a dish, a new drink. Basically just try out different types of content and see what really resonates the most with your audience and what elicits the most engagement, because it'll be different depending on your type of business and your audience. Just kind of trial by error and see what works the best. But overall, you really want to make sure any content you're putting out is intriguing, helpful, entertaining, inspirational, and valuable to your viewer. Otherwise, they're just going to keep on scrolling by. It's not going to catch their attention. And you also want to keep in mind your social media goals when you're creating your content. That'll kind of dictate how your content is framed. For example, are you trying to increase your brand awareness with this one post? Are you trying to increase community engagement? Are you trying to increase website clicks? You kind of want to figure out what your underlying goal is, and that'll kind of help dictate that. Okay, so you definitely want to post high quality images when you're creating your content. That's definitely going to draw the most attention, but don't worry about having a fancy camera. All you really need is just your iPhone, and try to go where there's the most natural light. Turn off the flash, and you can also edit your photo after with an app. There's lots of great free apps, even just on your iPhone. Visco is a great app, Lightroom. They're pretty simple to use, and you can just edit your photo, increase, the exposure a little bit, the brightness, balance the colors, nothing too extreme, but it can make a difference. And when you're taking your photo, you want to think about the composition of your photo before you take it. It should be clear to your audience what the focus is of the photo when they see it. And then another thing to consider is to share photos you get tagged in, especially if it's a high quality image. And customers really love when that happens. It makes them feel appreciated. It makes them feel engaged by your business, and it'll encourage other people to also then post photos of your business. So here's an example of two, in a sense, similar images I found on Instagram just by searching the hashtag office dog, both photos of a dog at a computer or a desk. But they, there's some differences between the photos. So can someone share maybe which image they gravitate towards or differences they see in these two photos?
I like the one on the right better because I feel like it really draws you in. It's closer up and the way that it's framed. And then it's got the cute dog mug and then the post-it notes that say need treats, which I think is so funny. And so, and plus also too, the colors are more vibrant. Although the desk looks vibrant in the left one, but the rest of the whole thing looks vibrant on this. So I like the one on the right better.
Definitely, definitely. Anybody else have anything to add?
The background is busy on the left dog too. All those photos, those are like distracting, and you're not looking at the dog, you're looking at the office, and the dog is so dark you can't even see him anyway.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, composition, plays a key in these two photos. Like you were saying, it's not clear what the focus is on the photo on the left. There's lots of clutter on the right. It's very clear that it's this dog. And the lighting, there's a big difference in the lighting. The one on the left, there's lots of shadows in the background. The dog even just blends in with the chair. The one on the right, it's very front and center. Everything's really clear. The person who took the photo took the time to make sure the lighting was good. And it was set up really nicely. They even, like the little cup and the need treats on the notepad, just a small little detail, kind of planning it out a little bit can make a difference. So after you have your high quality image, you want to make sure you're crafting interesting copy to go with your image. And copy is just kind of an industry term for the caption or the text that goes with your image. There's different strategies you can use to create something interesting. One method is to try starting out by asking a question. Questions are a great way to pique interest as someone's scrolling through the feed and might make them stop and continue reading. You can try including emojis. I'm sure you've all seen emojis out there. There's an emoji for everything pretty much. And depending on your audience, they might really respond well to it and make it a little bit more fun. You could also try encouraging replies by asking your followers to respond directly to a question. Sometimes that question gets added, towards the end of the caption, and that's a great way to increase engagement. You're kind of encouraging your audience to comment on the actual post and engage with you. And then another thing you can try is microblogging. It's a trend to use the caption like a short form blog post, and it helps you kind of elaborate more than just a 1 or 2 line caption and go more in depth about what you're trying to share. Within microblogging, something you could try tutorials, if you're sharing, for example, an image of food, a new dish, you can share the recipe in the caption. Tips and tricks, if you're sharing an image of a beautiful workspace, you can share some tips about how to make a productive work environment. And a lot of audience members really love seeing behind the scenes posts. You can take your audience behind the scenes and use the captions to tell the story behind an image. An example could be posting a photo of one of your team members, and you can go more in depth and share some behind the scene information about their role at the company, or if they're open to it, you can share some interesting facts about them in their personal life. And these are all just ways to kind of engage your audience and help your customers kind of feel like more connected to your business, so they get to know you a bit better, and give them a benefit for following you on social media in the first place.
Nailing, I have a quick question about that.
Yes.
If you have one distinct group that is customers that are on Facebook and one distinct group that's customers on Instagram, do you suggest posting the same thing to both?
If it seems like the customers, that like the audience is different, then I would suggest kind of catering it to the different platform, so posting a little differently. That's a good question. Thank you. Okay, so here's an example of a post that we recently did on Downtown Alameda's account. Just looking at the caption there, what strategy do you see that we used for to try to make the copy a little bit interesting?
I love the handwriting. I think that looks super fun.
Mm-hmm.
I know, it's a really cute photo.
Plus, you're just sharing the information. People are not only seeing that they're open, but they are delivering, and it's just a sweet little image.
Right, useful information. We started out the post with a question to try to grab attention, right? So, big grocery stores overcrowded, running out of staples, that try to pique their interest. So starting out with a question, threw in a couple emojis in there to try to break up the text and make it a little bit fun. And towards the end of the caption, I also try to encourage replies by asking kind of a rhetorical question, how sweet is this note, right, from one of the customers? And the idea is to encourage, followers to respond like, such a sweet note, and we appreciate you, Dan's Produce, and, kind of engage with the content. And then, of course, giving photo credit is important if you're using someone else's image.
Myling, I had a question.
Yes.
What the microblogging that you talked about, is that a good Instagram tool?
Definitely it is. And I have an example coming on the next slide that actually shows an example of microblogging. It's definitely really popular right now on Instagram, with influencers and businesses to kind of gain a deeper understanding of, the business. This is a post from a chiropractor, doula, nutritionist in Castro Valley. And she kind of, if you actually look at her whole feed, a lot of her posts she does follows the kind of microblogging technique. And in this post particularly, she shared a testimonial and afterwards followed it, with a little bit, my family means so much to me. I'm so happy. And a nice, well-lit image that's showing some like behind the scene work. So this is kind of another example of how you can craft your copy.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, and another thing to consider with your copy is to do contests or giveaways. Social media contests and giveaways are a great way to grow your following and increase your engagement with your content. The prize is really up to you and your business, but there's various things you can do. You can give away a gift card to your business, a gift card to your restaurant. You can give away a specific product. You can give away a free or discounted service. It's really up to you and what you feel like you can afford. But it's definitely a great way to gain new followers and increase engagement, like I said. When you're doing a contest or giveaway, all you have to do is really just include an explanatory caption. Make sure you are clear about your entry deadline, any guidelines, and following under there that shows a few different guidelines that you can use. The simple tried and true guideline is like and comment to win. If you see a post to enter it, you just like it, comment on it. You can add the aspect that they need to follow your account to win. So that's gaining some more followers there. You can also add the option to tag a friend. And the idea behind that one is that it kind of creates a ripple effect. And you tag a friend, and then they tag a friend, and they tag a friend, and then you have more eyes on your content, and then hopefully, on your account as a whole, and maybe gaining some more customers that way. And then there's also the hashtag challenge. That's a simple way to get followers to interact with your business. And for this, it involves individuals posting their own photos on social media and then using a specific hashtag that you chose to participate in the contest or giveaway. And I have a couple examples for you all. So here's an example of a giveaway from a florist in Tennessee. And she included a very beautiful image of a bouquet to catch your eye, and then clearly pointed out the 3-step process to participate in the giveaway. So it's very clear. And she did, follow me, tag 3 friends, and then she included a bonus to share the post as well. And then this is an example of a hashtag challenge actually that just happened from the Press Cafe in Pleasanton. And I thought it was such a creative thing for them to do during the shelter-in-place time. 1 week in March, they presented this challenge to their customers, and they every day of the week they highlighted a specific popular dish from their cafe and challenged their customers at home to recreate the dish. And then post it on their own social media using the hashtag, the Press Eat Healthy, Stay Healthy. And every day there was a different dish to focus on. And at the end of each day, they picked their winners and then announced them. And if you won the challenge, then when they reopen their doors, you get that dish on the house. So, it's not too much to give away on their part, but it was such a creative thing to do during this particular time. And it was a great way to just, still build their community, engage with their customers, maybe, get some new potential customers as well, and create some new content while they weren't, actually open.
I have a quick question on this.
Yeah.
So if I did one towards a Daisy's event where it was like, okay, redo your mantle, post a picture of it and tag us. How do you do it so that everybody knows you put like everybody in a pool and pulled someone else? Because I don't want to get all judgy if you made a cute mantle and you didn't. I think that takes away, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I'd just like to hear your feedback on picking someone.
Oh, like how would you pick the winner?
Yes, that's not super judgy.
Right, and it's
Because
totally up to you.
Mine would be very visual. I mean, that's the thing.
Right, and it's, I guess that's really up to you. You could frame it as a sense like, I'll pick my favorite, right? And then you can choose what, and you're going to encourage your followers to do make something beautiful, right? And it's just saying, I'm going to pick my favorite, and that's the winner, right? Or if you enter, then everyone has a fair chance. Then yeah, you would have to, you could put all the names in. There's different applications for that, or you can do it manually. But it's really up to you how you want to frame it.
Oh, Barbara, we all trust your good taste.
I know, but if somebody tried really hard, I don't want to then, oh, that's not good enough. So I was trying to come up with a way to do it without
I see.
judging, oh, you just don't have good enough taste. I mean,
Well, there's also like
no.
the control issue of like all of a sudden there will be images on your feed that you don't really control because people are putting a hashtag on it or something, right?
Well, but that wouldn't go into your feed. That would go into the things that have your tag, but it wouldn't go into your actual feed.
Because I was just thinking about hair. Like I don't want a bunch of, like, if I challenge people to do their own hair at home during quarantine or blah blah blah, I'm like, I don't want a bunch of half-assed hair pictures like showing up like I did it, like if you weren't paying attention.
Well, you wouldn't have to actually post it on your own feed. It would kind of just be in a separate little directory of them tagging you.
Or I could post
cutting their own bangs could be the funniest post around.
I literally just bought 2 gift certificates to my hairdresser so that and said, if you don't let me use one of these to get one of the first appointments, I'm going to cut my own and tag you that you did it.
Okay. Any other questions before we move on to hashtags? Okay, so hashtags kind of relates to kind of what we just talked about a little bit. If you don't already know, a hashtag is basically a pound symbol followed by some text. And using relevant and targeted hashtags with your posts are a great way to get discovered, especially on Instagram more than Facebook. And it can really translate to more engagement, more followers, and then hopefully more customers for your business. How do hashtags work? If you have a public account and you add a hashtag to that post, then that post will be visible on a corresponding hashtag page. It kind of acts like a directory for that specific hashtag. So all the different images and videos are organized and categorized by these hashtags. Here is an example of a hashtag page or directory. So, I just searched hashtag Eastbay Eats into my Instagram, and this is what populated. If you notice, there's on the left it says top, and on the right it says recent. These are 2 different ways that you can view the hashtag page. The top posts are what is visible right now, and those are considered the top posts, some of the top posts for that hashtag. Instagram uses an algorithm that tries to rank the posts with that hashtag. So what you're seeing are the most popular posts tagged by that hashtag. So if you get into this top, they call it a top 9 grid. If you get into that, that is like golden. That's great, for your business, great exposure. And if you switch to the recent, then it would just show in chronological order any posts that use that hashtag, and that is constantly getting updated. So within hashtags, there are 2 types of hashtags you want to consider: community hashtags and branded hashtags. So the first one we're going to look at are community hashtags, and they're connected to like-minded users and around a specific subject. It's a great way to connect with other people, improve your searchability in the platform, gain new followers, grow your community. There's different hashtags you can look at using. There's hashtags related to your product or service, for example, hashtag coffee, hashtags for the specific niche in your industry, like hashtag travel photographer versus just hashtag photographer. There's hashtags for special events, holidays, you've seen all those different food holidays floating around, National Donut Day, etc. And then hashtags that are used for location, like hashtag East Bay Eats, which I just shown on the previous slide, hashtag SFA area. There's so many different ones you can explore and kind of try out. And the best way to find these hashtags is just by looking at what similar accounts are already using and see what they use, and then you can try those out as well. Okay, so here's an example of a post from an architecture firm in Chicago, and they posted a beautiful image of a kitchen space that they designed with a little caption, and then they added a bunch of hashtags. So, I mean, just looking at the image, who do you think might find this photo useful or inspiring? So someone that might find this useful. Oh, Barbara, did you want to say?
Oh, yeah, I mean, obviously somebody who's like looking to redo their kitchen.
Right, someone who's interested in remodeling their kitchen. Specifically, they use the hashtag condo remodel, related to what kind of house or building they use. Maybe someone that's interested in, looking for an architecture firm, specifically in Chicago. These are different hashtags that they included, for a purpose, because then the image gets cataloged, so other users can then find that photo.
Why
and
didn't
one thing
they do hashtag kitchen?
I think they might have, but it got cut off when I screenshotted the image. Yes. So like hashtags, the cap you can use are 30 hashtags on a post. Otherwise, you can't use any more. And it's definitely like a balance on how many you want to use. If you use too many, sometimes it's seen as kind of like spammy. But if you use, more, your reach is expanded. But one thing that's interesting to note is that they included the hashtags in their first comment instead of on their actual post. So their post is just a very simple statement: sleek look, generous space, very clean, and that's it. And then on their first comment, they included all the hashtags, and they even used like the ... to make it drop down a little bit more. And that just makes it so when you see the post, it's just very clean and it's not like bombarded by all the hashtags right away. But then the hashtags still work the same way. Okay, so then the other type of hashtags are branded hashtags, and these are unique to your business. It could be as simple as your business name. It can be a tagline. It could be a name of a product that you use for promoting a specific campaign. It's really up to you. And some businesses use, multiple branded hashtags. Some just use one. And the great thing about branded hashtags is that it can help you collect user-generated content, or UGC, which I'll talk about in the next slide or the next couple slides. And the goal with your branded hashtags is basically just for your followers to use these branded hashtags in their posts. That's the main goal, and that's how you can get discovered by other audience members. So here is an example of a restaurant in San Francisco, Liho Liho Yacht Club, and they use two branded hashtags. On the left, they use Get Jazz, which is Hawaiian for party on, and on the left is Aloha Floor Selfie, highlight the flooring when you first walk into the restaurant. And both of these just help increase the awareness around their business and give their followers a place to share the relevant content, which then becomes user-generated content, or UGC. So when you have your branded hashtag, once you figure out what you want it to be, you want to remind your customers to use that branded hashtag. You can remind them by sharing it in your stories. You can mention it in your caption. You can put it in your actual, hard copy in your actual business. You can include it in your profile. And this way your followers can then, tap on that branded hashtag and see all the other posts about your business. They'll all populate and give that directory page. And then from there, you can pull images. If they're high quality and you like them and they align with your feed, you can pull them to share on your own account, and that becomes your UGC. And your followers are very empowered, if this happens, to then share more posts that include your branded hashtag. They'll be empowered to interact with your brand and engage with the hopes of being featured themselves. So this is a photo that I took when I went to Liho Liho Yacht Club many years back of my son when he was just like 5 months old. And when I went to the restaurant, I was already following them on social media. I knew about their branded hashtags that they were promoting. And so I went in and I knew I want to take a picture with this floor. I want to post it. I'm going to use their branded hashtag Aloha Floor Selfie. And I did, and I was obviously thrilled when they engaged back and then shared it on their own page. And so this just I had a great dining experience, but this kind of helped grow my love for the restaurant. Made me want to go back, eat again, tell my friends about it. So it definitely helps gain return customers. In addition to promoting your own branded hashtags, related to your own business, you can also include branded hashtags of other accounts that may in turn feature your post. So it can kind of go both ways. So this works with a lot of like community accounts. So like, the Downtown Alameda account, if you use the hashtag Downtown Alameda, then that account can share your photo. We also have an account in Alameda called I Love Alameda. Use that hashtag, and then you might get featured on that account. So here it's a sunset, and a user G Finds Balance, took the photo, and then now it's featured on this account. Expanding out a little bit from Alameda, there's a lot of other community accounts that can feature your business by just looking and finding what they are and using their branded hashtags. If you're a restaurant, you can use hashtag Yelp East Bay to be featured on the Yelp East Bay account. If you are a business related to kids, you can use hashtag 510 families or Bay Area moms, and these are just ways to be featured on these respective accounts. Like here is a kids bookstore mop book that was featured on 510 families. And these are all just great ways to expand your reach and get more eyes and different viewers on your profile and your account and get seen by others.
Shouldn't you have permission from the parents before you posted the picture of a child?
Yes, that's definitely true. So for that example, the bookstore, took the photo, and the assumption is that there was permission already. Maybe it's the bookstore owner's child or a friend. And so, once it gets posted and it's, it's public and it's using a branded hashtag, the hope is that it then gets spread and gets viewed by others. But yes, originally you definitely want to make sure you have permission. Thank you. Okay, so then our last thing we're going to talk about is engagement. So once you have your post, your photo, your copy, and you're posting out content, you want to make sure that you're also engaging, because you're not going to get much out of it if you're just posting and walking away. You want to make sure you're following other accounts and showing that you're an active participant on social media. It's a great way to see how others operate on social media as well, and you can learn from other accounts and get some inspiration from them. So definitely you want to follow competitors, industry leaders, potential customers, so you can get some inspiration on what to post and how to post. And one way you can do this is by using community hashtags to find profiles that are relevant to you to engage with. For example, here's an example of using a community hashtag, East Bay Hair Salon. I put that in, and the first top photo on the top left kind of caught my eye. And so I clicked on it, and then that led me to this hair salon's profile, Maven and Co. And it's a nice profile, kind of, there's a theme going on there. And so it's just a way you can kind of explore and see, what you like, what you don't like, and get some inspiration. In addition to following other accounts, you want to make sure you're also interacting with these accounts and interacting with any of your own customers, any potential customers. Keep a close eye on your mentions and notifications. So if you're ever getting tagged in a photo, if someone comments on a post, sends you a direct message, you get a new follower, any concern from a customer, these are all important things to pay close attention to, and timeliness is really important. So don't wait too long to respond to these, because it's all part of customer service. And building your relationship on social media then has an effect on your personal relationships with these customers. Definitely more likely to give business to people after having a good, positive social media account, right? So like back to my example with that restaurant, Liho Liho Yacht Club, after I had that positive experience on social media, then I felt, more likely like I want to go back to this restaurant. I want to tell my friends about it. And we did go back a lot. My sister actually had her bachelorette party there, so that was fun. Here are just some simple examples about engaging with your customers, and any comments that come up, make sure you like and you reply. It doesn't have to take too much time, but it's definitely a way to show that there's another person behind that profile, and work on building those relationships on social media. So on the left is an example from Facebook, and on the right is an example from Instagram. What are some other ways you can engage? You can comment on other people's posts that relate to you. You can publish content of other people. You can share posts of others. It's just a way to show you're an active participant on social media, and then your profile name gets populated, and other people might notice you and then click over. You want to try to interact with a few profiles a day if you can. It doesn't take too long, but it can make a big difference with your followers. And anytime you have a follower, post a photo using your user-generated content, definitely you want to like and comment on those to keep that going, and keep people wanting to keep using your branded hashtags. So here is an example of how you can just simply engage with a new profile and comment on someone's post. This is a post from Highwire Coffee. They were going to be opening up a new location in Alameda. It's getting halted a little bit right now. But this is a recent post they put up. and at downtown Alameda, I just hopped on, liked the post and commented, welcome to the island, can't wait to have you as part of hashtag downtown Alameda, quick and easy. But now they're aware of the downtown Alameda account. They're aware of our branded hashtag, and hopefully now that they'll see it, and the hope is that maybe some of their followers will also see it and in turn start to follow our account. So that's basically all that we covered today. Quickly, just recap, we went over creating content. You want to make sure your content, is entertaining or useful information for people to see that will make them stop and look at it. High quality images are very important. We talked about different ways to craft your interesting copy. We discussed the option of contests or giveaways. We also went over hashtags. There's community hashtags, and then there's the branded hashtags, which can help then create your user-generated content. And then we touched on engagement and how it's important to take the time to follow other accounts and interact with other accounts. And that pretty much wraps up what I have to share. So if there are any questions, I guess now we can take questions. Maybe, I don't know if I should stop screen sharing so I could see everybody or not.
I have one.
Yeah.
You said, just the last slide was to comment on posts and publish other people's content and stuff like that. And that's kind of always trips me up. I know how to do it on Facebook really easily to share things, but on Instagram, I can't figure out, other than taking a screenshot, cropping it and resharing it that way. Is there an easier way to share content on Instagram?
The screenshot and cropping, I mean, that's how I do it. If you want to reshare that particular photo, crop it so it has that photo, and then add it into your own feed. And then another way you can share content on Instagram, if you don't want it to actually go on your own feed, but it's something that you want to share with your followers, you can click. There's like a little arrow at the bottom of the picture, and you can share it to your Instagram story. And so that's a way to share.
I never do stories. I kind of don't understand stories, so.
Yeah, stories it's kind of like the next step, I guess.
Yeah. Good to know. I'll try it. Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Do you think there's a benefit in having more hashtags or less hashtags?
There's definitely a balance between that. So like I mentioned, the cap on your hashtags, you can only use up to 30 hashtags. I think research says around 10 or 15 is maybe ideal. So it's kind of like a balance. You don't want to use too many because it can be seen as spammy, and your followers or any potential followers might just be like, oh, they're just trying to put as many as they can. So you want to make sure you're being thoughtful with your hashtags and targeted with them. But with that said, if you're using a good amount, the more you're using, the more reach you can get with your post.
Should you research all the hashtags you're using so that you're sure what they mean to other people? And which category they're showing up in on Instagram?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I would definitely suggest that before you start, using hashtags with your posts. Do a search and see what populates on that hashtag directory page, and see if that kind of aligns with what you're trying to put out.
It's good to know, because I've been sort of just making them up.
Nayli, do you use later.com or anything?
I don't, but I am aware of Later, and there's a lot of different scheduling applications out there, which can definitely help, and it can help you plan your content. I know they can help you kind of like lay out your grid and see what looks good laid out together. It's definitely a great way to get organized.
Is there a recommended amount of posting? Is it better to post like a limited amount, or can you just like throw out a bunch when you get inspired and you get a good round of photos?
It's definitely better to kind of post consistently. So instead of, not posting for a week and then one day, like putting 10 posts out there and then not posting for a week, like, that's not really going to be seen as well from your followers. And also like Instagram specifically, like with their algorithm, they kind of reward profiles that it's more like predictable, like posting the same amount of times a week or even the same time of day. So you try to kind of pick a plan that you think you could stick with more. So, maybe once every other day or something would be a good place to start.
Thank you.
Yeah. And if you have, you're inspired all of a sudden to have these posts, you can kind of like, jot them down or organize them somewhere and then kind of like, put them out.
Use one of those scheduling apps, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I asked about later, because now that I'm not wanting to be able to stop and do it every day, so I'm gonna get that. I got that, and I'm doing it so when I'm inspired, I can do 10 of them, but space them out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that also helps
great.
you keep track of your hashtags and all. Like, got some stuff on there. I went, ooh, this is helpful.
Yeah, there's definitely a place. A lot of the apps you can store them and kind of just quickly send them over. You can organize them based on your type of post, which kind of grouping you want to use.
It had a little report that even said, if you can like sort it by hashtag, and these were them, and it'll show you which ones were most popular posts, and you can see if there's any consistency in there with that.
What was that app, Barb? Because I want to check it out.
It's later, later.com.
Okay, makes sense. Yep, thanks.
And is there a benefit to changing the type of content? Like photos with people in them, like in my case, using a toy, and photos of toy collections maybe, and then community, like, is it good to switch up what you're posting?
I think so, definitely. And also switching it up will help you kind of see what your audience responds to better. And then then you can focus on that. But it's always kind of nice to give some variation, so it's not the same thing all the time. Kind of if someone's going, let's say to your Instagram profile specifically and pulling it up and seeing your photos, it's nice to kind of have a balance on there, right? So it's not like person, or toy. It's kind of like spread out evenly. So as a whole, it's a nice look.
Mei-Ling, what's when you're using like either tagging somebody with the @downtown Alameda versus hashtag downtown Alameda, is there like a protocol that you should use? Is there a reason you would use one versus other?
Yeah, it's a good question. Yeah, there's like 3 ways you can tag somebody. You can use their branded hashtag. You can tag the actual photo. There's an option when you're posting it, and then you can tag them that way in your caption. And they're all great options to use, and they kind of serve different purposes. So if you're using the like for example, Dan's Produce or Dan's Market in that one post, Dan's Market they get a notification saying, downtown Alameda mentioned you in a post. But if they don't see it right away and it gets kind of pushed down, they might not end up seeing it. So it's not as great for, having other businesses see it. But as a someone looking at the post, they can easily click over to that business. Using the hashtag and then actually tagging the photo is definitely more has a more lasting effect, and it saves those images together. So if someone tags like downtown Alameda, if they tag the photo and then someone goes to the profile and looks at tagged photos, then they'll see all of them and they're always going to be there. They're not going to disappear. And that's the same with the hashtag. Those will all be saved under that directory of those hashtags. Does that make sense?
Mhm. Oh, and we have a question. Can you talk a little bit about stories for Instagram and Facebook?
Yes. So stories are very popular. And some profiles post strictly to stories, not so much on their feed anymore. On Instagram, and Instagram and Facebook, stories only last for 24 hours, and then they disappear. So it kind of is definitely more like for immediate viewing. But people love to watch stories, and it kind of, you click on a profile, you watch their story, and it just kind of goes from one story to the next, and it kind of keeps going. So people can definitely get, sucked into watching a lot of stories. I know Facebook has the option to do stories as well. I don't think it's used as much, but it's definitely very big on Instagram. And like I mentioned, you can share a post in your story. So I do that on downtown Alameda. Sometimes I'll just share someone's post, and then it'll go to downtown Alameda's story, and then a viewer can, will see it on the story, and they can click over and link to that particular post. So it's a great way to kind of engage with other profiles, other accounts, kind of like giving love to everybody else. I'm going to mention you in my story, maybe you'll mention me in your story, and kind of share about each other that way.
And then we've got another question. Can you please tell us what we need to know about Facebook Manager?
Facebook Manager. That's like for the ads, right? Yeah. So Facebook Manager is a great option if you want to kind of put in some money to give your posts a little boost, and kind of help it get viewed by more individuals. There's a way to boost, you can boost a post in Facebook Manager, or you can even do it outside of Facebook Manager if it's a little too complicated. But Facebook Manager gives you a lot of different methods and different ways you can tailor your ad. You can, it'll ask you, do you want this ad to focus on engagement? Do you want it to focus on getting website clicks? Do you want it to focus on, how many impressions or how many people view it? There's different things you can specify that you want to focus on, and you can add a little bit of money or a lot of money. It's really up to you. And you can specify how long you want your ad to last. Facebook has suggestions, and they can kind of share it to who they think they want to, or you can tailor the audience yourself. You can specify the age range, the demographic, what people are interested in, and then Facebook will take that and then share your post, hopefully to get viewed by more individuals that you might not normally reach, and in turn, hopefully they'll then click over. Hopefully that makes sense. It's definitely a little complicated.
Do
Do
we
you
have
think
any?
boosting, oh, sorry. Do you think boosting posts actually does do anything, like, oh, add $5 and da 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 da? you know, does it really work?
Yeah,
I've done it every once in a while for another business of mine, but I don't even know if I figure $5, who cares? I'll throw it out there.
right, right. I mean, a little bit, if it doesn't hurt, and you can kind of, you know, you'll be able to see what effect it has afterwards and how successful it is. It definitely gets your post seen by more individuals, and then it just depends if those, you know, become customers. That's the harder part. And that sometimes depends on maybe how much money you're putting in, and how you're tailoring the ad. But it definitely helps expand your reach.
Well, if there are no other questions, I just want to say thank you, first of all, to everybody who joined. We really appreciate your engagement and your interest in this. I want to thank Mei Ling for your very informative and insightful presentation. We're going to have the link to this is going to be on our website. And then we'll also send out a post viewing, just a little survey to see how, you know, what the information was that was included, and then also to see what else would you like to learn about. Are there other things and other topics that you'd like to find and explore? So, Ling, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Likes.
Yeah, thank you
all
for
about-
having me. Hopefully you found you got some useful information for you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
It's great.
Have a great day, everyone. Thank you.
Too. Thank you. Nice to meet you,
Thanks.
Kathy, virtually.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you. It was
Bye.
great.
Thank you.